All right, what up, YouTube family? So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I made $30,000 over the weekend, how I made $30,000 from this piece of paper, from this contract, literally 4 pages. And I'm going to show you exactly how I make $30,000 from this and how you can too, okay? So I've done a video about this, but I haven't really gone to really in-depth on sharing with you exactly how I actually got it and how I'm able to make $30,000 from it. Now, and this is why I want to jump on the live, because over the weekend, I've got so many DMs, all of you asking me, so Khang, what do you mean by you making $30,000 from the contract? What's going on? Can you please do a video and explain more in details? So I'm going to show you exactly what it is, okay? So once again, you know, my whole thing is first, before I get into the game, I want to let you know that it's not how hard you work, but it's what you do for work that will make you rich. I used to make $30,000 working the whole entire year for somebody. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just like some of you right now. All right, barely making ends meet, man. And I remember going in there begging for a raise, begging to get a 25-cent raise. And they said no. And that pisses me off, okay? And after working there for 8 years, I start out $8.50 an hour. After 8 years, I finally made $30,000. So imagine if you take $30,000, 30K times 8. That's $240,000 for 8 years. For 8 years, slaving away, building someone else's dream, working for someone else, making someone else's rich, and working like a little bitch, right? And look at that. Now I make this, my friend, in 1 month. 1 month, okay? Now, I share this is not to flex. It's not to brag. It's not to impress you, but really it's to impress upon you, to let you know that I'm just a high school dropout, started from the bottom, live in a shed behind a mobile home park, all right? And if I can do this, because I have the work ethic, I got the willpower, I got the determination, and so can you, my friend. And sometimes for some of us, we just need a little guidance, need a little training, need a little support, need a little hands, you know, not hand out, but just take us by our hand and show us the rope so we can do it, right? So here today, I'm going to share with you exactly, you know, how you can make just $30,000 from a piece of paper, from a contract like this, okay? And if you want the contract like this, you want the script and all of that, I'm going to share with you exactly where you can get it as well. So where's my black marker, okay? So let's rock and roll. Let's get into this, okay? And I don't know if you guys, I don't know who here follow Alex Hormozi. Okay, I don't know. I'll tell you guys a little bit about the story of Alex Hormozi here. But before that, let me get into this. Let me go grab some black marker real quick. Okay, I wasn't planning to do this, but man, my DM. Man, I wasn't planning to do this. That's why I'm not prepared. But man, my DM just blew up over the weekend. So what happened, okay, so what I did, okay, is this is a seller. Okay, so how I got this deal, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about virtually wholesaling. Never met the seller, never saw the property. I'm going to show you exactly how you can too, okay? So what we did is we sent 500 letters. So we sent 500 letters, okay, okay, 500 letters. This is me, okay. We sent 500 letters to not just any seller, but we sent it to a list called Tire Landlord, okay. So we sent it out to a list called Tire Landlord, and we sent out 500 of these letters, targeting my whole entire city. So this seller's, he owns this property, okay. He owned this property for 15 years. He has it rented out, and the renter is going to move out by the end of the month. Seller name is Mark, okay? That's his real name. Seller name is Mark. Mark is 79. Does not want to have to be a landlord anymore. He owns a lot of rental in the area, so he wants to start selling them off. And what's cool about this deal is that he said, Khang, if this one goes well, I got 7 more for you if you want it. So for me, dude, we got to get this deal done, okay? And so a lot of times, one seller you build good rapport. If you build good rapport with the seller, one deal can lead to the next, dude. Some seller might have 10, 15 of them, okay? And I also want to let you guys know that this right here, it's just like my average deal size. I don't mess around with the $5,000, the $2,500, right? Typically, when I make an offer, I want to make at least $25,000 on my deal. For me, less is more. I don't want 10 deals at $5K a pop. I'd rather do 5 deals at $25,000 a pop. Okay? So for me, I want to make it worth it, right? So Mark here's tired, renter's moving out. So we got on the phone with the seller, okay? And Mark actually wanted $450,000 for his property, okay? I offer him $400,000 and he said no. We came to an agreement about $420,000. So my plan right now is we're going to market this deal out to a buyer for $450,000. So that's a $30,000 spread. And right now we have a buyer that's probably ready to go at this price. Okay? So I locked this property up under contract. We have it currently under contract for 45 days. So the longer you have it under contract, the better. Because the longer you have it under contract, which means the more time, okay, it allows you to find the right buyers. The buyer that's going to pay you the most for the deal. So we lock it up under contract for 45 days. Okay? Mark is okay with that. So now we're marketing it out to a buyer for $450,000. Already got 2 buyers that's interested in the property. So here's what we're going to do as the next step. Now in here, I actually have left out a step. So I apologize. So let me write this, okay? Can you guys hear me? Sometimes I know this mic's moved around. So a lot of you ask me, so Khang, where do you get the list of tired landlord? Okay, that's a good question. So this is the software. Okay, it's called kingdata.ai. This is the software that we use to pull all of our motivated seller lists. 99% of my deals come from off market, not on market. And I will explain to you guys why off market is the way to go. A lot of you are targeting on market deal for sell by owner, on Zillow, on the MLS. That's not where the game is at. The game is at off market, where you're the only one who deals directly with the seller. The seller's only been talking to you, right? They're not talking to any other investor. So you don't have a bunch of competition and you get to control the deal more, which means most seller. Let me share with you how much this cost me without giving away all the information here. Look. Okay. As you can see, there's the purchase price of $420, and it only cost me $250. Okay, $250 as an earnest money deposit, which means I only need to come out of pocket with $250 to lock this property up for 45 days, to control it for 45 days, and in return, I'm trying to make $30,000 on this deal. You don't have to buy the property. You don't have to fix the property up. This is the beauty of wholesaling. No buying, no fixing. All we're doing is that we're getting the property in a contract, and that contract give us equitable interest. This contract right here, give us equitable interest, which means that it gives you the rights as a potential buyer to either move forward to buy it, or you can legally sell this piece of paper, sell the contract over to anybody you want for a profit. It could be your mom. It could be your dad. It could be your aunt or uncle. Whoever it is, whoever that have $450,000 that wants to buy the property that you just got under contract for, you got under contract for $420. Whoever wants to pay $450 for it, you can sell that piece of paper, this contract, over to anybody that you want. Okay? But in this case, typically what we do is we look for what's called a house flipper, right? They either want to buy, fix, and flip the property, or they actually want to buy, fix it, and keep it as a long-term rental. Okay? So this is the software we use to go pull all of our lists. Okay? Now let's talk about when it comes to the buyer. Okay? So right now we got a buyer, 2 buyers already, and here's what we're gonna do. Okay? So So we currently got 2 buyers. Okay. Both of these 2 buyers, both of these buyers are looking to flip the property. Okay. They're looking to buy it, fix it, and flip it. I'm thinking that's probably going to cost about $50,000 in rehab. Okay. So which means they're going to buy for $450,000. They're going to put $50,000 into rehab. So now we're sitting at about $500,000, right? 450 plus 50, 500,000. You know, plus the closing costs and the fees. Let's just say that they are at 525 all in. Okay, all in. That's where the buyer's at. Well, this property is going to be worth around $625,000 to $650,000. Once they're done, that's how much the buyer's going to list it for. Now, the reason why I explain this, because a lot of you don't understand, right? Why would a buyer buy it? Okay, it's because they can sell for a lot more once they fix it up. Okay, so they're going to put $50,000 into it. It's going to be worth $625,000 to $650,000. The seller needs to sell it because he's tired and don't want to be a landlord anymore. And us, that's where we come in. Okay, and that's where we come in as the middleman. And that's all wholesaling is. It's that we're just a middleman. We're finding property at a discount and we're selling it to someone who wants to pay more just to get in on the deal. We're basically just like when you go to a grocery store. They buy something at wholesale and they retail it to us people, right? Us consumer. We pay retail for it. They buy it in wholesale. And that's exactly what we're doing as a wholesaler. We find something at a discount and we're selling it out to somebody else, and then we make our money in between. Okay? So once you get the buyer, here's what the next thing you're gonna do, okay? And this is something I haven't really talked about much. But a lot of you ask me, so Khang, once I found the buyer for the deal, so here's the buyer, okay? Once I find the buyer for the deal, this is you, okay? And this is the seller, okay? So once you find the buyer for the deal, the next thing that the buyer wants, I'll show you the text. Oh, shoot, I'm on my, I use my phone for TikTok. But the buyer will ask to inspect the property, okay? Some buyer will buy it sight unseen. If you come across those type of buyers, dude, put them on your VIP list. The buyer that's willing to buy the property without seeing it, those are badass, okay? Which means they understand the market, they understand the area, right, that property's in. And based on the numbers, they're like, dude, worst case, I'll break even. But they don't want to lose out on a deal for somebody else because the upside is so much more. So they're willing to take the risk. So some buyer will buy sight unseen. I have dealt with those buyers and I love them. They're easy to work with, they're fast, and they're boom, boom. Typically, you can get this all done like in 15 days. $30,000 in 15 days, okay? So the buyer wants to inspect the property. So here's what you need to do. What you need to do is you need to reach out to the seller, okay? You're going to reach out to the seller, Mark. In this case, it's Mark. I'll be like, hey, Mark, my partners, my contractor, my inspector, my finance partner, doesn't matter how you want to say it. Hey, what's a good day and what's a good time for my contractor to go out and inspect the property, right? So you want to prep the seller up and let the seller know that your inspector, your contractor, your partners, whoever it is, they want to inspect the property, okay? To make sure everything is good before we move forward to close on it. So you want to get a date and a time from the seller. The next thing you want to do is now you want to prep your buyer up. So the buyer in this case is going to be John, which is his real name, okay? John is his real name. Okay, so John texts me and I'll be like, hey, John, and I've done a lot of deals with John. John is a big investor in where I live. His family owns probably over 1,000 plus units, 1,000 rental where I live. The cat is a baller, okay? So this guy, John here, John was born in a rich family. Like his dad was a big real estate investor. His dad owned a brokerage and a big real estate investor, and then now it's just passed down to him. This cat is a beast, okay? Like when I talked to him for the first time, I already know this cat is a true hustler. The way that he talked to, slick, smooth. So anyways, so John wants to inspect the property. I told John, hey, obviously, I remember the first time that I worked with John, I said, hey, John, you know, you're going to come out there on behalf of our company as a contractors, right? Slash as a contractor to look at the, right? To look at the property and seeing what needed to be done. So what you're doing that you need to prep the seller. Let your seller know the contractor is going to be there. Prep your buyer and let your buyer know that they are there on behalf of your company as a contractor. Okay? And tell the buyer, please don't discuss any pricing or anything with the seller. That is between us. So after you're done, give me a call. I'll answer any question that you have. And then you also let the buyer, you got to filter and qualify your buyer, guys. That is the key. Do not waste time with tire kickers. They're a buyer who just like, oh man, I'm just going to go check it out and just to see. You don't want to work with those buyers. Okay? So typically what I do is I'll tell my buyer, hey, once you go and look at the property, if everything checks out, which is the number looks good, the conditions, the amount of repairs, everything looks like you anticipated. Are you ready to move forward or are you not? Right? And how soon can you close? And a real buyer, a true real buyer will say this. A real buyer will tell you, hey, you know what? I can close anytime as long as I can get clear title. So I can close as fast as the title company can get the paperwork done. Those are the words that you want to hear. Or the buyer will say, hey, I'm probably going to need about 15 days. Okay? The buyer's going to say, I'm going to need about 15 days. Why? Because which means this buyer is probably going to get what's called a hard money lender. So they work with a hard money lender. Hard money lender, they typically need about 2 weeks, 15 days to get all the paperwork done and close on it. So that is still solid. Okay? Now a buyer that tells you, hey, I need 30 days, I need 45 days, I need 60 days. These types of buyers, I'm telling you, they are there to waste your time. It's probably another wholesaler that's trying to lock this deal up under contract with you and then sell it over to their buyer. But they should have been upfront with you, right? If you're going to go and you're going to JV and do other people's deal, just be upfront with them. Just let them know, hey, I'm another wholesaler, but I have a buyer that might be interested on this deal, right? Now, there's two ways to go about that. Let's just say that I'm trying to sell the deal for $450. Okay? And you'll be like, hey, you have a buyer that will buy for $500,000. So you will tell me, hey, you know what? I don't want a piece of your commission, but whatever I can sell to my buyer on top, are you okay if I keep that? If that's the case, you'll be like, hey, I got a buyer, right? And which means you would be like, hey, not JV. Now what you want to do is you're like, I got a buyer that's ready to go. You sign an assignment with me and then assign that assignment agreement over to your end buyer and make the $50K. So that's how you do it. Okay? But once again, this is like a whole nother thing. So I'm just going to finish the whole thing here. Now, when it comes down to setting up the showing, I know some of you, after you get to that point, you'll be like, okay, now I'm confused. And I apologize. I apologize that I confused you, man, but there's so many ways to make money in this game. There's so many strategies. Okay? So once again, the key here is you got the seller here. Okay? And then obviously this is you. And then this is the buyer. Okay? Now, what you need is that if you're not there, I call this the facilitator. So which means when you set up the showing for the buyer to go out, meet the seller to inspect the property, the key, my friend, is what you need is you need a facilitator. So for me, I do this completely virtual, right? I don't meet the seller. I don't go to the property. All of my VAs are from the Philippines. So they obviously can't come here, right? So what you need to do is you need to network and connect with another, maybe a realtor in the area, maybe another wholesaler, okay? Or maybe a friend, a family member, or someone that you're able to connect with. You want to build those relationships, start building foot on the ground. So you need to always have a person that will be there to facilitate the showing. I call them the facilitator. This person, their job is to be there just to make sure the seller and the buyer don't try to go behind your back and discuss price and try to cut you out on a deal. When the buyer knows that you're going to have someone there on behalf of your company, right? They're not going to try to do some shady shit. So, right? And we'll worry more about the buyer versus the seller. Seller don't really know, but the buyer's what's the concern, right? So you always want to have someone there to take care of the showing. And that's how you want to make sure that you protected, right? So the buyer doesn't go behind your back. Now, can the buyer still try to go behind your back after all of that? The answer is yes. Listen, you can't stop someone when they have an evil mind. When someone has an evil mind in business, they will try to do whatever it is trying to cut you out of the deal. When it comes to that point, the only way, the final way, the only way for you to really protect yourself is you got to cloud the title. Okay, you got to cloud the title. And this is something that your title company can do. And there's a word that's called I can never say the word correctly. It's called a But anyways, call your title company and just say, hey, I just want to cloud the title. When you cloud the title, it means that if this buyer decided to go behind your back and work directly with the seller and cut you out of the deal, and they're trying to sign a different contract, which means when they're trying to close on it, there will be a lien. There will be a lien of your contract. Okay? So when that title company is trying to close, they can't close because there's a lien that puts against the contract. So when they pull it up, there's a lien of your contract on there. So now they would have to beg you to remove the liens because if you don't remove it, they cannot sell the deal because the seller technically already signed a legal purchase and sale contract with you already. So the beauty thing about us wholesaler is that once the seller signed, we are the only one that are allowed to back out. And that's what I put in my contract, okay? I put all the contingent that I need to back out of the deal, walk away, scratch free, okay? And the seller, once they sign, they're stuck with me for that X amount of time until I'm okay to let it go. So for wholesaling to work, honestly, it really, really comes down to just having the right contract to make sure that you can sell it, which means make sure you can assign it, and to make sure that you are protected and you can walk away in case you can't find a buyer. Okay? And that's pretty much how it is. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. Let's just say that. So here's what's going to happen. Okay? Here's Mr. Seller. Okay? Here's Mr. Seller. You and the seller agrees at $420,000. And then here's me. Okay? And then here's me. Okay? It's okay. I'll be the ugly one. All right? And then here's buyer. Here's John. Here's the buyer. And buyer's going to buy for $450,000. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay? And then here is going to be the title company. So at the time of closing, let's just say that the buyer agrees to buy it for $450,000. You and the buyer, you guys going to sign what's called an assignment contract. You and the seller sign what's called a purchase and sell contract. This is different, okay? You and the seller sign what's called a purchase and sell contract. Once you found the buyer, you do not sign a purchase and sell contract with the buyer. If you do, you're screwed. All right? You're going to sign what's called an assignment, which means you're just assigning that you are assigning your rights to buy this property over to the buyer with another contract. It's called the assignment. And I also have that assignment contract in my contract, right? So I have a separate purchase and sale contract, and I have an assignment contract. And if you stay all the way to the end, I'm going to show you how you can get it, and I'll give it to you for free. Okay. So here's the title company, correct? So what's going to happen is at the time of closing, the title company is going to reach out to the buyer, John, and say, hey, John, you're going to buy for $450,000. We need you to wire the funds into us for $450,000. Remember, you do not give the money to the buyer. Buyer do not give the money to you. You do not give the money to the seller. Everything goes to the seller or the title company. So my $250 EMD, okay, we send it to the title company. And then once you found the buyer, this is also key. Man, I'm leaving out so much stuff. And I apologize, man. I'm leaving out so much stuff. So once you find the buyer, because, you know, when you're in the trenches, there's a lot of things that you do and you'll be like, man, you've been doing it so long that you leave a lot of the stuff out that you don't realize. But the key is you and the buyer, you need the buyer to drop off what's called a non-refundable. Now listen, this is very, very important. You and the seller, you drop off what's called the EMD, which is a earnest money deposit. When it's a earnest money deposit, you can get it back. But when it's a non-refundable, you don't get it back. Whether you want to move forward to buy the deal or you got cold feet, you want to back out of the deal, you're going to lose that money. So which means that once you found the buyer, you want that buyer to drop off a non-refundable deposit as big as possible because you want them to have skin in the game. The more skin in the game they have, the more likely they'll move forward to close it. And if they decided to back out, get cold feet and back out, guess what, my friend? They're going to lose that money. I don't mess around with this, okay? Once again, here's how you know if it's a real buyer. A real buyer will be like, hey, I'll drop off 5K. I'll drop off 10K. Dude, they're going to buy the property for $450,000. There's buyer that'll be like, hey, $500. What the heck, man? If you get a buyer that said, hey, I'll drop off $500 or $200, that's not a legit buyer, my friend. That's not a legit buyer. That's a time waster. Real buyer, I typically will get $5,000 to $10,000. So if John ever backs out, the title company will release that non-refundable to me. I get the $5,000. I'll reach back out to the seller. I'll be like, hey, Mr. Seller, here's what's going on. My partners ran into some family emergency. So now he can't move forward because now he's financially stuck and dealing with some family issue. But here's what it is, Mr. Seller. I'll come back. I'll be like, hey, Mark, we still obviously want to move forward to buy the property. Right? Be like, hey, Mark, I know, here's what I'm going to do for you. What if I just give you an extra $500? Can you just give me an extra 30 days? So now you're using the buyer's money to give it to the seller. You can, $500 to $1,000. Dude, the seller would be like, oh, hell yeah. Give me $500. I'll give you an extra 30 days. Let's get it done. That's how you do it. You see, in the game of business, it really comes down to it's money talk, bullshit walk. Every single one of us has a price. The question here is, are you willing to pay for it? Every one of us has a price. One is, can you afford it? Two is, are you willing to pay for it? So when you're reaching out to somebody and getting help and they're like, oh, sorry, dude, I got no time for you. It doesn't mean that they're busy, that they got no time for you. It's just that they'll be like, hey, the real answer is, what are you willing to pay? That's the real question. I remember when I first met my mentor. He doesn't mentor anybody, right? But he came and speak at this speaking event because the guy that runs it was his best friend. So he did as a favor. And I remember coming up to him, I'd be like, hey, dude, bro, I've been trying to wholesale for 6 months, dude, and I'm stressing out. I really want this, and I can't seem to figure out alone. I've tried it. I told him I have the work ethic, that I'm determined. I don't care if I have to grind 14, 15, 16 hours a day. I don't care if I don't sleep. But I really want to get this because I knew that this is the path, dude, that's going to make me the next millionaire. And he said, well, Khang, I don't really mentor people, man. I'm coming here to speak for, just to help a friend, yada, yada, yada. You know what I said? Name me a price. What's your price? Dude, I know this game. For those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Vietnam. And if you don't know my country, man, kids at 5, at 6-year-old, they're already out in the street negotiating deals. They're hustler, man. So I said, dude, name me a price. What is it worth for you to teach me what you know so I can achieve my goals and my dreams and make the kind of money that you're making. That's exactly what I said to him. And I said, and his name is Michael. And I said, Michael. And I call him Mike. I said, Mike, listen. My wife said that she will not let me leave Florida if you don't accept this. So by not accepting it, dude, I'm staying here. Or either that or I'm going with you. But she tells me that I have to say, to make you, no matter, she said, it doesn't matter what I need to do. I just have to get you to say yes. And he turned me down 5 times. And I said, just mention a price, bro. And he said, Khang, what are you willing to pay? I said, whatever the cost is, I want the results. Can you give me the results that I need? Because I'm tired, dude. I want to change my life. I want to make more money. The cost was $25,000. And then in the next year, I got to pay him $100K. So total, I spent over 6 figures for my mentor. We shook hands. The deal was done. I flew him out, VIP, 3 days, taught me everything. After he took off that 3 days, dude, I found my first deal in 2 days. It was crazy. And that's what I needed it. Found my first deal, and that's how I made $50,000. Okay? So, now I'm going to share with you guys the software and how to use it, okay? So, YouTube family, you're in for a treat. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, YouTube family. So, get your computer open, get your laptop open up. I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to share with you exactly how I pull this motivated seller, the tired landlord list, and how you can build one in your city and in your states. So drop me your city and your states. I'll pull a list for you right in front of your eyes that you can target to get the results that I just got. Like I literally given you, hey, here's the list. Here's what I did. Now go do it. The only thing that you're probably missing is probably the script, which means when you get on the phone with the seller, you probably don't know what to say. You don't know how to overcome the objections. You don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to get the seller to drop their price. What if I can show you how to do that as well? And what if I give you the script also for free? And what if I can also give you a mini course to get you started? Just to get your feet wet, get you into the game. And what if I can also put you in a room with other like-minded real estate investors across the country that you can network with for the price? So currently right now, okay, once we hit 50 members, once we hit 200 members, the price is going to go up. But what if I give you all of that for $27? And it's a month-to-month, obviously. Who would be interested in that? So I'll give you the contract, all the contract that I use, right? The script that I charge $495 for, okay? And then the course that I charge $1,000 for, $997, whatever. And the contract, okay, $395, just to get you in the game. And the reason why I created this community and I make it so affordable, because I know some of you out there said, hey, Khang, I want to get my feet wet. I want to get into something that's the least amount of risk or at least out of pocket, the most affordable that I can. What if? Comment in the chat. Let me know if you're cool with that. Okay? So this is for those of you, once again, I'll give you the contract, the scripts, the course, just to get you rock and rolling, get you into the game, get your feet wet, put you in a room with other like-minded real estate investor. All you need to do is go here, my friend. School.com/WTM club. That's it. Oh, my phone just rang. Okay, hold on a second. So WTMclub.com, TikTok, or you can check the link in my bio. I'm out. Hold on a second. Oh shoot, I got a meeting to go to. Oh shoot. Oh, my gosh. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so let me hold on a second. So let me see here. So we got Orlando. Okay, let's go with Orlando, Florida. Justin, congrats. You're the chosen one, man. So I'm going to share with you the software that I use, okay? Hold on a second. Let me share with you the software that I use. And I'm going to show you, Justin. Justin, you might want to open up your laptop, man. I'm going to walk you through this. And I want you guys to understand Let nothing work if you don't. Dreams don't work unless you do, okay? Knowledge without execution is worthless. So the thing here is, if you want to target a tire landlord, so this is the software that I use, Justin, and all you need to do is click sign up now or get started. It'll take you down all the way here, right? But this list here comes with the, so you have to have a pro account. So the pro account costs you $249 a month, okay? That's the only thing. Now you can also get the basic, and I'll show you what you can do with the basic. Ah, man, I gotta go. Shoot, I gotta go. Hold on a second. Man, got another meeting. I'm gonna try to do this really fast, so I probably don't have the time to explain it to you very, very well. So I'm just gonna hit log in. Hold on a second. Let me log in really quick. I'm gonna show. Literally, it's so fast. But I just don't have the time to show you, you know, like in detail. So I'm just gonna go really fast. Okay, let me share my screen again. So all you're gonna go is property leads. Okay, right here you put in your city and states, which is Orlando, Florida. Man. Boom. And then we click on filter. Okay, and I don't want apartments, I don't want townhome, I don't want condo. For me, single family, multifamily, that's what I'm looking for. We'll wait for this here, and then we just go with Bore Investor, which is tire landlord. Okay. Now, obviously, there's 19,000, 19,000 or 31,000. The list is way too big. Okay. So the cool thing about having the pro account is I'll go like this. Hey, Bore Investor, which is the tire landlord, and I want the property to be also vacant, or I'm sorry, not vacant, right? But they also own a free and clear. So that takes our list from 31,000 down to 7,772 people. Okay, and then I go down here, and I said, hey, you know what? I wanted to have an AI score, which is, dude, this using AI, it'll tell you how motivated the seller will sell, and it'll rank it from 1 to 1,000. I usually go with 500. Okay, so it's 4,446, and then I'll go down here, owner types. I want this to be individually owned. I don't care about business owner. Okay. And this is, so basically right now I'm getting the list smaller and smaller because I want to narrow in, because direct mail costs a lot, and I want the seller to own the property for 10 years or more. There's 2,000, and I want this to be an in-state owner. And my friend, that's the list that I target. 1,976. And every single week we send out right around 500 letters. Okay, so that's the list that I target, and then you click on see results, and then you can when you go here, you click on the property. Guess what, my friend? All their contact info. Man, I gotta go. So all their contact info, their cell phone, do not call us, does not apply to us. So as a real estate investor, we can still call them. Okay, and most investors don't know that. They have removed the law for us real estate investors, so you can still call them. I would call them, I would text them, I would email them, and obviously I would also send them a letter. And you can set up your direct mail here. You go to leads, and then you click on direct mail, and you can export this by download. You can save to your CRM. You can download this list, export it, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So that's exactly what I do. I don't have any more time left. Now, once again, I want to say this final thing. For those of you who listen, who's like, Khang, I'm just like you when you started 12 years ago. I think I need that hands-on coaching, that mentorships, all right, that guidance, that training. I want to work alongside with you and your team. This is something that I offer, and it's not for everybody, but it's a basically hands-on coaching, okay? We have classes 3 to 4 times a week, live class, like classes like this, where we go over everything about your wholesaling business, whether to help you close your first deal or your next deal, but it's a live class training, holding you by your hands every step of the way, okay? 24/7 support from my team. And check this out. Clinton is my top students in 2025. The guy started with me back in February. All right. Ari closed, what is it? Ari closed, he already closed over 15 deals. And I want to show you guys his wins. Dude, him and his wife went to, hold on a second. I don't want to say, he closed a gigantic deal, my friend. Okay. And he was playing golf while he got this deal closed. So I'll show you how to do it completely virtual. Don't meet the seller. Don't need to see step foot on the property. You don't even need to meet the buyer. I'll show you exactly how it's done. Once you're able to go virtual, you would never want to waste time to go out there and meet the seller again. And then let me share with you one more picture. This one he closed for $26,000. Him and his wife were in the Bahamas. Okay? And Clinton, he was working at a company that he makes $130,000 a year, and they decided they want to cut his pay down to $50,000. So he was pissed. All right, and that's when he went on to my coaching mentorships. And now his biggest deal that he's about to close is $170,000 on one single wholesale deal. He used to make 130, dude. Just one deal, 170 G's. Never saw the property, never met the seller. So listen, if you were interested and you're like, Khang, dude, this is totally for me. I would love to be one of your students. Then go to coachwithkhang.com. I only want five more students, and then we'll lock it. And then you got to wait for another quarters. Okay, go to coachwithkhang.com, and I look forward to seeing you inside my Wholesale Community Academy. And let's go get this money. I'm out. Let's rock and roll, baby.